Greetings everyone, Eric here and welcome back to another video. In this one I'm going to be showing you how to draw kind of a cutesy, younger cartoon type girl. I'm even doing it traditionally today, so let's stick around and watch that. But also know that this video is sponsored by Liquid Einstein, and stick around to the end of the video to learn more about them and how you can get maybe a little bit of a discount for them. So let's get started on this. Okay, so before we get started, let's just kind of talk tools for a moment. So right here, I just have a very basic piece of paper. This is effectively just a little bit thicker than normal printer paper. It's still really cheap, so this isn't anywhere near my better paper. I have sketchbook paper, I have illustration paper, I have comic book paper, but I'm just using this because I want you to know that you don't need expensive tools. This is just kind of a nice little twist erase mechanical pencil from Pentel. I believe this is a point... What is this actually? I think it's a 0.7? Yeah, 0.7. There, it says right there. Has a little eraser on the bottom, which is very handy. So this is what I use sometimes. I normally use blue lead, but that's not going to show up very well on the camera. So that's why I'm doing this. Other things you might need are things like erasers, which I have a little kneaded eraser right here. You can just use a regular rubber eraser. Just go with whatever you can find in your local stationery of your supermarket or convenience store. Doesn't have to be anything amazing. Other things I have for inking and stuff like that are some inking pens. Stettler is my personal favorite company to go with, just because I like the way their pens work, but you can make anything work. I even have some of these master fine liners. These are super cheap. I got a bunch of these in a pack, so just go with what you can. You could even just use a regular old pen, like just a writing pen. That'll do. You don't need anything super fancy or super extravagant. Just use what you can get. Another thing I wanted to show you is some reference that I have used over the years. It actually is a book from a very well-known cartoonist who makes a lot of both famous and infamous books. But this book is really good and I really like it. It is Modern Cartooning from Christopher Hart, and I'm sure many of you know that man's name. He has made a lot of how to draw books. I like this book. It is actually really informative. It's really good. I learned a lot about like more Western-y cartooning stuff. I've implemented some of the stuff of this in my own style. He also did another book about kind of simplified anatomy. I love that book. This is a really good book. I will leave a link in the description to this book. It is very good. I highly recommend it. So check that out. But for today, we are going to just draw a nice, cute, younger girl. And as always, we're going to start off with very basic shapes. And what do I mean by that? Well, that means we're just going to draw a circle thingy. It doesn't even have to be perfect. Just draw it as good as you can get it to be. It doesn't have to be perfect. If you can't do it in like curves like this, you can even do it in kind of like a like just doing stuff like this, like a bunch of quick straight lines, because again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be something to use. So that's what we're using here. Hopefully that's showing up enough on camera. Hopefully I'll darken these a little bit more than I normally would, just because I want you to see. Now what we're going to do is we're going to divide the circle in half, or at least as in half as I can, just by eyeballing. So I'm just going to kind of, I can already tell I'm not perfect at it. I've never been like really great at the whole eyeballing the center of lines, but again, it doesn't have to be perfect. You can always make adjustments later. So cut that in half down the center like this. I always go a little bit further than I think I'll need, just because that gives me a little bit of wiggle room of where I want to place the chin. And where I place the chin will depend on the character's age. Now this is a younger character, so they're going to have a big head compared to their body, but the features are going to be a little more squished in, so they're going to be much rounder. So the chin's going to be closer to this line here. So for like a child or a younger kid, like maybe in their like they're just hitting their teenage area, yeah, just kind of put something like maybe down here. But that kind of gives us our chin line. And then what you want to do is you simply want to take kind of your sidelines here, and what I would do is just kind of go straight down a little bit from here, just to kind of give yourself something to kind of work with here. And then this angle, you want to kind of take your center of this as well. So if you were to cut this in half, take that point and just kind of work your way towards the edge. This is just like a triangular thing that I use to just kind of help my brain. I learned this from a Japanese artist. It's been very, very helpful. But now you have kind of this like base here to kind of visualize. So what you're going to do is you're going to just draw the chin in. So what I do is I just do that. And again, just feel it out. You will know one thing, and that's something Joe Kubert taught me, is if it looks wrong, then it's wrong. And sometimes you won't know why. And believe me, that is exasperately frustrating. But basically, we're just going to put like a chin here. Now, as you can see here, I did a little bit of a subtle curve here coming back up to this line. So I did a little bit of a subtle curve, pulling the line in a little bit more. And then from these points, I came down. And these points are about where that is, like where that line ends. You can see they're a little bit right there. And then I just kind of did a nice subtle, mostly straight line, but I swooped it just ever so slightly. And that really kind of just gives you the basic jaw structure. Now we already got like kind of a halfway mark here, but let's bring this down just a little bit more for the eyes. So this is our halfway between here and here. Let's bring it just a little bit. I'm going to rotate just a little bit to give myself a little more naturalness to my hand. Don't be afraid to rotate the page if you have to get a natural feel that works better with your hand. So this is going to be our eye line. Halfway between that and that, that's going to be about where our nose goes. And then halfway between that and that is roughly going to be where our mouth is going to go. So those are all our guidelines. We have those set up. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to actually kind of indicate where we want the eyes to roughly go. The thing with eyes is normally you have your eyes width, and then between the eyes, so between the two eyes, there'll be about an eye's width between them. So this would be about an eye. And then you usually have half an eye width here. So that can be confusing, honestly. It's not the most straightforward thing to figure out. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go with cutesy. So we're going to go with big eyes. So I'm going to kind of determine everything by this first eye. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of do a nice gentle, oh, I think I'm actually going a little too high, but that's all right. I'm just going to do kind of a nice gentle C shape. Kind of a slightly elongated C shape. That's kind of what I like to do for certain types of eyes, at least for younger characters. And I could probably go bigger than that. And then, like I said, this should be about here, since that looks about that gap. This is so much easier for me to do with blue pencil or digitally, but I'm challenging myself now because we all need to do that every once in a while. Try to get as close to the same shape as you can. Don't feel too bad if you can't. Even I struggle to get that. Like, I can tell that those two are different by a slight amount, but it doesn't matter. For this like area for the nose, I'm just going to go with a very simple kind of shape. So we're just going to go with kind of a little shape like that, and a little shape like that, just for a nice little tiny little nose. And then for the mouth, we're just going to give her, you really can't see it that well, but I'm just going to give her a nice little smile. So something like that. There we go. That should be a little bit easier to actually see that there is a mouth there. Now that we have that kind of set up, to do the like inner eye, I'm just going to go with a very simple thing, kind of like what I learned from like Dragon Ball and such, is I'm just going to do kind of like a big old oval-y type shape. Kind of just a big old oval shape. Since she's looking straight towards us, we can just do something like that. Now, because this is kind of a cutesy female character, it'd be a good idea to give her some highlights. So pick one side. So I'm going to pick this side. And we're just going to do a nice simple highlight. And then we're going to repeat that over here. Same side. And now we have a little highlight. Another thing I like to do here is kind of pick somewhere here in the middle of this eye and do kind of a rough circle that stops when it touches this highlight there, so it doesn't go any further than that. And I'm going to do that on both sides. And this is the center part of the eye, the pupil, which is kind of the black part of the eye, so we can actually kind of just fill that in. And then to kind of sell this a little bit more, what I like to do is I like to take the line over here, go a little bit above the halfway mark of this, and just kind of complete that line going that way, and fill this whole top bit up. Fill this whole top half. I like to do that. You don't have to do that. It's just something that I very much like to do. Now, to make this character look a little more cutesy with their eyes, one thing I do like to do is I like to thicken up the eyelash itself. That's basically what this thing is. So what we're going to do is we're going to thicken that up just a little bit more. So over here, we're going to thicken up this back end by creating a bit of a little point that I like to do here, which is just kind of bring that out just a little bit more. We're going to keep that curve, obviously. So something like that, and then maybe have like an eyelash or two come off. So something like that. And that instantly kind of gives it a slightly more feminine look to it. For the eyebrows, we'll just kind of do eyebrows that come up to about here. This will be kind of the brow line. I'm just going to rough that in. Nothing fantastic, just simple basic eyebrows. For the eyebrows, I kind of use roughly this type shape. That's kind of the shape I like to use for eyebrows for these kind of characters. For the hairline, so we're going to take about, what is that? So that's the brow line right there. So let's go up just a little bit more to about there. And this will be kind of the hairline area. Just trying to clean things up just a little bit here to make it a little more readable. Now, depending on what you're drawing, you might show the ears or not. Depends. But basically where you want the ears to go is about this original like halfway line here, or even like around here. You want to start kind of from there, and you're just going to kind of start from up there, and then it's going to come down to about here, which is where the nose is. From this straight on angle, they're going to be further back, so they're going to be much thinner. So I just do a little subtle curve here. A little bit of a out curve there, and then I just come back in and complete it there. And then you do the exact same thing over on this side. I am bad at symmetry. And because we're going to keep this simple, for the little inner part of the ear, I just put like a little line that goes like that. Little hook that kind of follows that shape. I do a little soft triangle here, and then maybe one more line coming out there. And then you can just repeat that over here. For the neck of this character, because she's a much younger character, we're going to give her a nice little thin neck. Now, if you're wondering kind of where I figure this whole thing out for like the neck, as you can see here, I'm kind of using a little bit of this like line that goes through the middle of the eye to the ends of kind of where the cheek area would be. Obviously, when she's smiling, she's going to be pushing her cheeks, her mouth forward. If her face was at more of a rest, then that kind of line between the halfway mark of the ear, or not the ear, the eye, is about where I start that line, and then I do kind of a in curve. On this side, it's an in curve, so just kind of so instead of a straight line, you do a bit of an in curve, and have the bottom come out just a little bit more than the top did. And that's basically your neck. And a little thing you can kind of do here if you're following along is make just kind of a subtle little triangle, like a very curved triangle from that point to about there, if I were to just kind of throw something there. For the hair, well, the hair can be anything you want it to be, so obviously I can't tell you exactly how to do every single style of hair, because that would be a very long video. But the things you want to think about is volume. So if the character has very lush volumetric hair, meaning they have a lot of hair, then you want to kind of show that, especially in a cartoon. In cartooning, think exaggeration. So for this character, I'm going to have her hair come all the way up here off of her head. So like up to there. And I'm just going to create this big, over the top, big old outside shape. So I'm going to have her hair do kind of this. So I'm just going to, and I'm just throwing these out here. I have no idea what hairstyle this is. And do something like that. Obviously the body is probably going to end up going somewhere in this general vicinity, so that would cover it. But we're not covering the body. Let's do something over here, kind of the same thing. For the shoulder, here, let's just kind of throw in these lines here just to indicate that there is a shoulder line. And I'm keeping this super simple, just straight lines. But this is like the outer part of the hair. For this inner part of the hair, we're going to do the bangs. Now, with hair and cartooning, and you want to, with that kind of stuff, you want to think in volumetric shapes. So you're not going to be doing every single little hair like this. That would just get annoying. Instead, you want to bunch the hair up, so you want to do like big old triangular type shapes like this. And this is basically just a bundle of hair. And so that's what you kind of want to think. So for this hair, let's go pretty fun. Let's see, let's have her hair kind of cross her face interestingly, like this. I'm just throwing these in randomly. I have no idea what I'm designing here. We're just gonna put one big one here. We're gonna have our hair kind of go a little bit more to one side. Something like this, where it's kind of three big triangular, or basically this shape just a couple times. So that kind of shows the hair. Now, as you can see, I was just using very big, very triangular shapes. I was doing a bunch of bundles of hair. So this is all bundles of hair, so big chunks. And that's the best way to think about it. And even if you wanted to break this down a little bit simpler, you can take this shape and kind of break it down into even more shapes like this. So if you really wanted to kind of emphasize a little bit more detail in the hair, you can break it, that one big shape, into three shapes instead of one, which I could easily do with this one. So instead of this being one shape, I could have it be multiple shapes by just making a few slick adjustments. Now obviously you can't see because it's so completely covered in pencil. But if I were to just kind of do that and then try this again, and that instantly makes the hair a little bit more detailed without me having to do a lot of extra detail. So that took that from one big spike to two little spikes that are kind of joined together. And then you have your three spikes over here, and you can do the same thing over here if you want. So what I'm going to quickly do is I'm just going to quickly ink this so that you can see it a lot better. And then I'm going to try and erase a lot of the pencil lines, and then we're going to have some closing words. So let's kick into some time lapse. Okay, and here we have the final piece here. Now you can see here with like some of that little bit of blue, what I did was I took my my little blue lead mechanical pencil, which is what I usually use to draw, but trying to draw... Wow, that actually seems to show up. Oh, that's hilarious. That actually shows up better than the black pencil. Whatever. This is what I usually use to draw because it's something about the feel of this lead and the light blue. I don't know, it just feels better to draw with sometimes than normal black lead pencils. Anyway, we have our final piece here. Sorry the inking isn't as great as I usually can produce digitally. I tend to have a bit of a shaky hand. Obviously that was all time-lapse, so you can't really tell, but if you slowed that down, I tend to have a bit of a shaky hand, so it's really hard for me to draw. I guess when I've been drawing for a while, so my hand gets a little more sore and tired, but I think it came out relatively well. So just a nice little cute little girl with big old puffy hair, very, very anime. You can tell what I grew up with. I grew up with things like Dragon Ball and stuff like that. So kind of get the eyes a little bit of a mix of that and stuff. But I hope this was helpful to you guys. I hope you got something out of this. If you would like to see more videos like this, I know I probably should be doing more actual art tutorials of me drawing stuff, then please let me know in the comment section below on some other things you would like to see me drawing for some of these more of these videos, and if you would like to see more of the traditional stuff, or if you think it's fine just doing the digital stuff. Obviously, the digital stuff is a little easier on me, but I want to be able to accommodate what you guys would like to see. So please let me know in the comment section below what you would like to see. And as always, thank you all so much for stopping by. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. You know, make sure the YouTube algorithm knows that you like the video. That's also why you should comment, because it helps out a lot. And a big thank you to Liquid Einstein for sponsoring this video, and let's go on to the little thing of me kind of giving you my impressions of Liquid Einstein as I open it up. And also just kind of tell you mostly what it's cool. Here, go watch that. Bye. All right, you get out of the way. All right, so my package from Liquid Einstein has just arrived, so let's get it open with a knife. Sheathe you my trusty blade. All right, and then we open the box. Nicely packaged paper, and woohoo! And there we go. 2 quantum oranges. Very nice packaging. Formulated in USA. Let's get these open. Box. Begone! Okay. Here are your boxes. This is your daily dose of genius. Liquid Einstein Healthy Focus Blend Ultimate Brain Fuel. Trademarked. Thank you again, Blade. Open. Open. I will get you open. There we go. All right, we open this up. There's like a thing inside that. Cool. And here we have... Ooh, they're in little packages. Oh my god, you know what these remind me of? They remind me of those like packages that you could get of like just pure sugar that you would just eat. That's what it reminds me of. Oh, and it's also filled with the quantum orange powder. So these are the little things. Very, very nice. Oh, look. And trusty instructions on the side. First thing is to tear open the packet, pour into 16 to 20 fluid ounces of cold water, mix well, and enjoy. Anyway, we need to give this a try. Okay, now let's get to the mixing part. All right, so all we do is we take one of these packets and put it into 20 milliliters of water. Let's make sure the water tastes good. Oh yeah, that's good water. Glug, 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 glug. Now we take our packet o' lovely orange powder. How's this smell? Oh yeah, that's orange. Woo, yeah, that's orange. Pour some in and get with the mixing. Shaky, 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 shake, 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 shaky, shaky, shake, shake. All right, nicely mixed up. Let's take a try. Cheers. Ooh, it's almost got like a creamy orange, kind of like a cream soda kind of feel to it. Not bad. Liquid Einstein is made in the USA and has all the vitamins and minerals you need to help keep your body energized, boosted, and keep you from getting those usual jitters you get from, when you have too many energy drinks. So yeah, big shout out to Liquid Einstein for sponsoring this video. If you would like to check out Liquid Einstein, there will be a link in the description below that you can click. That'll also give you 20% off your order. So go ahead and check them out and, liquefy your brain. Wait. No, energize your brain. Check them out.